What's going on, people? I hope everybody is doing good. So, I wanted to hop on here real quick, man, and respond, give a reaction, to this Ghostface Killah and Stephen A. Smith interview on the state of today's rap, the state of today's hip-hop, okay? It's a pretty good interview, man, and I want to give my 2 cents on it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the interview right here, and then I'll be back to give my commentary on it. All right, so check out this interview between Stephen A. Smith and Ghostface Killah on the state of today's hip-hop. Check it out.
You're going to let people know what you think
about
a lot of different issues. And you've spoken about a lot of things, including the state of hip-hop. And now, and if I remember correctly, you were alluding to how you feel it's lost its substance. Talk about that for a second. How you feeling about today's hip-hop industry, and when you make a statement like that about it losing its substance, why do you feel that way?
Because I remember coming in and even listening to the greats, it was like we had something to say. We had, it was character. We had topics. I feel that we lost a lot of that. And like everything is more like simple now. I know things never stay the same. So it was bound to happen. You know what I mean? But things don't stay the same. So you got the younger generation that's like when we did Cream and all the other songs we did, we talked about the struggle. We talked about it and made it still where it was still cool. And those are our biggest records. Now, when you look at the generation like right now, everything is like, naked females, and it's simple rap to me. Don't get me wrong. I'm down for a black man to always go get his money, black woman and everything. But I think there's ways that you can still go about it. You know what I mean? So once you get trapped in that world, it's like you become that, and that's all you know. See, when it comes to writing like raps that I used to do, that I do, it takes time. You got to sit at that table at least for me, because I'm a slow writer. It take me to get a good one out, maybe 4 hours. But sometimes it takes longer than that if it's really good, and you got to come back to it. These kids could just go in there and just do whatever, as long as they mentioning liquor, jewelry, cars, and women in there. It seems like, okay, you made a record. You know what I mean? And drugs. So, but I remember when we had when we had Nas, Biggie Smalls, Mobb Deep, the Clan, everything, we had to really write. And it excited me when I heard of Nas or something because it inspired me. Now, it's like I know the generation is way younger, so I don't really get that much inspired except by my peers when I hear like Jadakiss and these guys that keep me up on point. But it's really different. It's like you don't even got to be a rapper to make a hit. You know what I mean? You ain't got to be nothing. You could be a nobody and somebody could write it for you, or you just, and it's like you just a one-hit wonder just because you got the gram. We didn't have the gram. I remember it's like 15 of us in a 15. I mean, in like a 20, like in a 15 passenger van. We slobbered on each other going to radio and sleeping on each other's necks and throats, just in an all white van, just trying to get to the next spot. It was a struggle. These guys don't got to do that.
Got you. So this begs the question, Ghostface. Do you believe they just young, don't know no better? Do you believe the industry is to blame for the content that we seeing out there? Or do you believe that the young brothers and sisters, they sold out to get the money, and that's all they want to talk about? What do you think is what do you think it is?
I think social media. Played a lot on it, because you could just be. I seen stuff that like I wouldn't even expect to just take off, and it just take off but where's the raps? And it just made it so easy. So if everybody, I think, let me see, because if you got a lot of people liking, it just goes with where their mindset is at. It's their mindset as well, because like when I was younger, when I was like 15, 16, it was like I used to hang with the older guys, and it almost felt like, yo, you know what? My mind was there. Like I was like I was like an old young person. You know what I mean? But it just seemed like somewhere down the line, you know what I mean? Because it seemed like somewhere down the line, these kids just got stuck. But I can't really blame them. You got to blame the parent.
Right.
Because that's where it all comes from, because they're looking at us and they're looking at them.
You also blame the media. You didn't like the way, you've been critical of the media's role in covering music these days. What's the issue with the media?
Because they just give it it's just real quick. It's like, all right, take for instance, the media you know what? Even with the Drake and Kendrick thing, it's like with the one part of the media, it's like they're going at it, right? Those are two black, they're brothers. You know what I mean? But it's like, and they amping it on though. And I know battling was always good for the soul. You know what I mean? Just for whatever. But it's like, yo, God forbid one of these young men go out there and get killed. Since y'all was the one refereeing the whole situation, the media and the DJs, it's like, then I can hear it right now. We got to stop this. We got to this. And we got to that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the media, and I'm like, oh, now you want to sit there. But you wasn't saying it when it was lit and it was just on fire. And y'all up there saying like, we got 24 hours to go respond. You know what I mean? So the media, it got its ways of playing it. And people follow the media.
I will say this,
so
though. I will say this to you, though. I get your point, and I'm in the media. You right. Hell, we ain't gonna sit up there in front and act like you ain't right. I get that. But what I would also say is that you got cats in the hip-hop industry that was pushing it too. Yo, this is what it was. This is how it always been. You battled. This was they were sitting up there egging it on. I mean, they were doing it more than the damn media was. What about them?
Exactly. I'm reading the comments, and you're right. Right. And I'm just looking at it like, because every time like somebody passed away through violence, and it's like, yo, we gotta. But y'all was just y'all was just waiting for this and waiting for that. So I'm like, yo, you know what? Let me just stay in my lane, and at the same time, I'm glad that I'm aware of the situation and how it's, because sometimes some people can't see it, but you know what? I can see it and I know where it's going. You know what I mean? So, but it's a combination of things with this generation that's coming into right now. Like, you know what I mean? And when they doing it, they getting a little bit more personal. They digging up receipts and this and that. Before, when we did it back then, you had your LLs and this one and that one, and it was like, okay, it seemed like it was more fun. It was hip hop. Now it's, it is what it is now.
Okay. Now, you all just heard that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to replay the video, and I'm going to stop at the points that I want to touch on. Okay, so here go.
In the state of hip hop, and now, and if I remember correctly, you were alluding to how you feel it's lost its substance. Talk about that for a second. How you feeling about today's hip hop industry, and when you make a statement like that about it losing its substance, why do you feel that way?
Because I remember coming in and even listening to the greats, it was like we had something to say. We had, it was character. We had topics. I feel that we lost a lot of that.
Okay, right there. Now, when he says something to say, he's talking about the lyrical content of today's rap. I don't mean the metaphors and similes. I'm talking about the lyrical content as the words, okay? The rap today, it pumps out much negativity for the youth, all right? Most of it that's pumped on mainstream radio, it only promotes guns, drugs, sex, and much more negativity for the youth to consume. Everything that much of the mainstream rap promotes today, it destroys the youth, okay? Drugs. Many people overdose on drugs. It destroys the youth. And young adults, okay? Reckless sex, being promiscuous. That also destroys the youth, okay? They talk about reckless sex and sleeping with any and everybody, but they don't show you the dark side of that, which is in the clinic being diagnosed with incurable STDs, okay? And even though, Dr. Sebi and people like that, they cured incurable diseases, but why would you even want to, have to go through that? You feel what I'm saying? But today it seems like most mainstream rap, it has nothing to say, but the negative aspects that I just listed above. Okay, that's what it seems like, and that's what Ghostface Killah is talking about. Let's keep it moving.
You got to sit at that table at least for me, because I'm a slow writer. It take me to get a good one out, maybe 4 hours. But sometimes it takes longer than that if it's really good, and you got to come back to it. these kids could just go in there and just do whatever. As long as they mentioning liquor, jewelry, cars, and women in there, it seems like, okay, you made a record. You know what I mean? And drugs.
So right there, kids do whatever. He's talking about the creative aspect, you know. Back in the day, you had to be kind of lyrical. You had to have talent and actually put some thought into your music, as opposed to today, many artists just do ABC 1, 2, 3 lyrics and it goes somewhere. And nobody is hating on, you know, rappers that get a break like that. Nobody is hating on that. Get it how you get it, you know. Get in where you fit in. But we're just talking about the state of today's rap. You know, it's really not about talent, it's about popularity. And I believe Nicki Minaj said the same thing.
One singer told me this label recently dropped her, and it really hurt me. And I was just like, I listened to this girl's record and she's super talented, and I listened to other people they have on their label, and I'm just like, yikes. It's really all a popularity contest. Labels do not care about talent anymore. It's about your popularity. So the music industry has changed drastically because of that. So when I was growing up, I would put on the radio and hear talented people. When you guys put on the radio now, you hear popular people, right? And that's the difference. So you gotta hold on and treasure the ones that are still here, not because of popularity alone. And I would be silly to say that I'm not here because of, you know, popularity partially, right? Because my fans are such a powerful force. Like, you know, they'll get something trending. You know, I got Queen Radio now, and like, but at the same time, I never have ever relied on that just by itself. I never relied.
So I don't really get that much inspired except by my peers when I hear like Jadakiss and these guys that keep me up on point. But yeah, it's really different. It's like you don't even got to be a rapper to make a hit.
Right there, like I said, it seems that most rap that's pushed to the youth today, it promotes only that, you know, guns, sex, drugs, murder, drilling, killing, stealing, etc. And that's it. So the topics of today, they are very the same, okay? It's like every song is that, okay?
Do you believe they just young, don't know no better? Do you believe the industry is to blame for the content that we seeing out there? Or do you believe that the young brothers and sisters, they sold out to get the money, and that's all they want to talk about? You know, what do you think is what do you think it is?
Well, I'm going to say what I think it is, okay? In my opinion, it's a multitude of things. It's not just one thing, okay? It's complex. It's the executive, okay? The executive, because the executive, they control what's put out, okay? Also, they sign artists that have run-ins with police and sell drugs, etc. Most of the artists that, you know, record labels sign, many of them actually do what they rap about, which is also a negative influence on the youth and on young folks, okay? Because young folks that hear the music, they try to mimic the music. Some of the artists they sign also don't do what they rap about. But that's also still a negative influence on the youth, because the youth believe that the artist is really about that life, and they try to be about that life too, which ends up getting them killed or locked up, etc. And the record label executive doesn't care as long as they made some money, okay? If you think about the record label exec that was on The Breakfast Club when Charlamagne asked him, why do you all keep signing artists that, you know, put that kind of message out in their music? Why don't you all switch it up a little bit? The record label exec, he kind of got mad a little bit, right? Like, well, you already asked me that. I told you that. You know, he's like, I got to feed my family too. You know, so it's about money. It's always about money. It's always about the dollar bill, okay? If you notice, record label executives do not sign people with clean images, okay? I believe that's by design, okay? To influence the youth, to influence young folks that's consuming the music. If you look at how the youth function today, if you look at how many of them operate today, and young folks, they're operating just like the music tells them to operate, okay? It's because people don't understand that music is medicine. Music is powerful. Music has the power to bring together people from all around the world and bring them in one spot. Okay, and they all sing one song. Music is very powerful. Okay, let's keep it moving.
You know what? Even with the Drake and Kendrick thing, it's like with the one part of the media, it's like they're going at it, right? Those are two black, they're brothers. You know what I mean? But it's like, and they amping it on though. And I know battling was always good for the soul. You know what I mean? Just for whatever. But it's like, yo, God forbid one of these young men go out there and get killed. Since y'all was the one refereeing the whole situation, the media and the DJs, it's like, then I can hear it right now. We got to stop this. We got to this. And we got to that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the media, and I'm like, oh, now you want to sit there. But you wasn't saying it when it was lit and it was just on fire. And y'all up there saying like, we got 24 hours to go respond. You know what I mean? So the media, it got its ways of playing it. And people follow the media.
I will say
now,
this.
right there. 24 hours to respond. Now, I understand what Ghostface is talking about when it comes to rap beef, all right? Like with Drake and Kendrick. He's saying the media will pump it up. The media will amp it on. And then if one of them unfortunately gets killed, the media will then put out messages of peace, love, hope, etc. And I've seen this done, you know? I've heard songs on the radio that glorify killing, drilling, murder, and then, you know, next up, it's a commercial about stopping the violence and stopping the killing. You know, well, which one is it? Which one are you for? You know, it's like, hey, you're confusing the listener. You're confusing the consumer. You know, we need to give the youth and the young people something concrete. You know, you either against this or you are for this. You know, don't tell me in one song to kill, then tell me in the other song to heal. Which one are we doing here? You know? So I get what Ghostface is trying to say right there. However, in my opinion, when it comes to rap beef, you know, rap has always had a little battle in it, okay? It's always been who's the dopest, who's the hottest MC, you know, my lyrics are better, yours are whack, etc. A little battle, to me, is always good for hip-hop. As long as it stays on wax, as long as it stays over the beat, okay? And not taken to the streets. Once you take it to the streets, now we're getting out of pocket, you know? It's nothing wrong with a little competition lyrically and metaphorically in rap, in hip-hop, as long as it stays on wax, okay? It's nothing wrong with that, all right? If you look at the rise of battle rap, etc., you know, there's nothing wrong with a little competition in hip-hop, as long as we can all shake hands and be cool afterwards, you know? You know, I'm gonna start to land my plane right here. You know, I understand what Ghostface is saying when it comes to today's rap. What it seems is there is no balance, okay? In today's rap, it needs balance. Now, what do I mean? You got music that glorifies nothing but murder, sex, drugs, and that's what gets pumped all day. But you got to dig deep to hear something that glorifies anything positive or anything godly, okay, etc. If you think about the 90s, you know, there were gangster rappers, but then you had Mos Def would probably come on. Queen Latifah would probably hit your airwaves. Kid and Play would hit the airwaves. Common, okay, would hit the airwaves. You know, Poor Righteous Teachers, Public Enemy. There was a balance, okay? So I understand what Ghostface is talking about and what he is saying, okay? At the end of the day, we have to understand that music is powerful and influential, and it can motivate or tear down. It can build up or tear down, okay? It can destroy, etc. If you pump out negative music all day, every day to the youth consuming it, then the youth will start to reflect that music that they are consuming. And the problem today is that they don't have anything positive to consume when it comes to the music, okay? And if they try to find it, they got to dig deep to find it. There is no balance with today's music, and today's music is pretty much destroying the youth, okay? Because music is powerful. You know, you think you're just listening to music, but you're listening to something that has the power to influence, that has the power to inspire, that has the power to motivate, that has the power to tear down, okay? Even when record labels claim to be seeking something different with music, okay? When record labels, A&Rs, and people who seek talent, they claim to be seeking something different, okay? Or we're looking for the next best thing. We already heard that. We already got that. We already got Lil such and such. We already got, we're looking for something new. And then even then, they wind up signing somebody who raps about the same thing, okay? It's like that. It's by design, okay? It's to keep the youth in an immature mindset leading to destruction. Nothing godly is promoted. Nothing positive is promoted. It's only destructive to the youth. And rap needs to get back to some godly and positive programming because the youth today need it. If you look at the youth, if you look at the young people today, they need something positive to look forward to. They need something godly to reflect on because the youth today are living what's in the music and it's killing the youth. Okay? It's killing the youth. What's in the music is promiscuous sex. Promiscuous sex is destroying and killing our youth. Okay? They talk about having sex and having fun all day, but you don't see the dark side of that, of them being diagnosed with STDs, unwanted pregnancies, etc. All of that. They talk about drugs and all of that, but drugs is destroying the youth. They talk about how they have fun with doing drugs, but they don't show you the dark side of that, of how many youth and how many teens and young folks and young adults die from that. Okay? They talk about drilling and killing, okay? But they don't show you the flip side of the mothers crying. The families are torn. You know, people have to deal with mental instability, etc. So it's a lot of negative things that's being pumped out to the youth. And the record label executives and the rappers need to get back to something positive for the youth because the youth needs that because the youth is being destroyed from the music that's being pumped out right now. Okay, so we got to get back to some balance. We got to get back to some Queen Latifahs on the radio. We got to get back to some Commons on the radio. We got to get back to some Poor Righteous Teachers on the radio. We got to get back to some of that, okay? Because the youth definitely needs that because if the music that's being pumped out now keeps getting pumped out, then it's going to destroy the youth completely, all right? So record labels do better. Rappers do better. Yeah, so I understand what Ghostface is saying. I do. I understand exactly what he is saying. And to the youth, to the young rappers coming up, do your thing. Nobody is hating on you. Nobody is saying, hey, man, don't get your money. Nobody is saying, hey, man, you need to stop. You know, nobody is hating on you. Do what you do. We're just sitting back and we are observing. Okay? We are observing what we see. Okay? And if you sit back and observe, you too will also see that there needs to be some balance. All right? So let's get back to it, man. Peace.